Right, welcome back to the Stock Car Podcast. Today we are up in the Brisca scene. In the last Stock Car Podcast you would have seen was with the main man in the Speedway scene, but today we are with one of the best F1 drivers. Doesn't race anymore, unfortunately, but he does have two daughters that we have here that do race. It is Andrew Smith. That is the best round of applause we've had on here. Thank you very much, Andy, for coming and doing this. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting us to your home and your garage as well, which is banging. It's a bit of a dream workshop.
No problem. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much. Right. First of all, we'll start off with what I know about you. Obviously, I'm from the Speedway scene, from the stock cars and ORCI ministocks, whereas you're from the national ministocks and Brisca scene. Me first seeing you was on Gears and Tears.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that later on. But yeah, I first saw you on Gears and Tears and you was the man on there. Unfortunately, I did favour the Wayman side at the time. But yeah, that was my first time. And I was actually one of the drivers, one of the people that came to that Coventry World Final the next year. That massive Coventry World Final where you did win again.
That's right, yeah.
So yeah, that's about... If I'm honest, as far as I know you've won many, many, many titles and are one of the best. So it'd be good to get to know more about you. We'll go deep dive into a few things. First of all, we always start with your early racing memories. So that's you first time remembering going to a track, first time getting in a car, seeing a car, wanting to race a car.
Yeah, wow. Well, going back a long time there, you know.
A few years ago now.
Yeah, I mean, crikey, a long, long time. I mean, as many people will know, my father, Stuart Smith Senior, you know, he was probably one of, if not the greatest stock car driver there's ever been, depending 100%. On people's opinion. Everything comes down to opinion, doesn't it? But there's a lot of people who'd say he was the best ever. And obviously I was born into stock cars. I think my mum said I went to my first stock car meeting when I was probably not much more than a week old.
Oh, wow. So
I've got a plus 50-year history in the job. So yeah, I mean, growing up, I suppose, as a young kid, you know, I was the son of the most famous driver at the tracks. You know, and what you got to remember back then, you know, in the 1970s, if you like, that's when stock car racing, especially Brisca stock car racing, was at its absolute maximum.
Like, what was that, drivers and spectators wise? Everything.
The
show.
Yeah, the whole show, the spectators. You know, we used to race at many, many tracks, and I just remember the crowds were always huge. You know, the place was packed out. Just to give you an idea, I mean, we used to pull in the pits. We had a converted coach, much like people have now. And we used to pull in the pit area. And when we pulled in the pits, swarms of people just used to descend on our coach. And we're looking back, like as a little kid, I couldn't quite get my head around what was going on, you know. But it were all these stock car fans who were coming to see Stuart Smith unload his stock car. Coming to see, you know,
watching him turn up, the buzz of him turning up at the event.
Yeah, it was massive, honestly. And back then, every driver back then, this is how popular stock cars was. All the top drivers had a fan club, believe it or not. Basically, all these spectators, you know, if they were your supporters, they would send the little subscriptions in, and they'd be members of your fan club and get a monthly newsletter. And discount off merch, you know. Even back then, you had You know, we used to rock up in the pits, like I say. And one of the first tasks, one of the mechanic's wives, she ran the fan club, and she had a bloody great big suitcase full of all merchandise. And back then, it wasn't like T-shirts and hats like it is now. It was sew-on badges and stickers, car stickers, window stickers for the road car.
Is that why you see all the old boys with all the badges on?
That's it,
right in the jackets.
They used to have jackets full of, and they'd have caps with. Like, they had Perspex badges then with little safety clips on. You pin them to your cap and not your hat, if you like. Anyhow, they used to sell this off the coach. And there used to be queues forming up the full length of the coach and more. People wanting to come and buy badge. All the merch and get the discount off if they were a fan club member and all that. So it was almost like he really was a superstar within stock car racing. You know, and we could go to our local track. It was a track called Bellevue, Manchester.
The old Bellevue.
The proper Bellevue. I mean, the last Bellevue we had, most people probably remember that, but before then, the old Bellevue, that was a proper old stadium. You know, covered grandstands around 3/4 of the track.
Proper stadium.
And it used to echo. The atmosphere was fantastic. You know, and we'd go there, and that place was packed out. You know, I don't know how many people it held, but I guess you'd probably get 8,000 or 10,000 people on a bank holiday there regularly.
Yeah.
You know, stock car racing back then, when I was a child, if you like, growing up, it was bigger. It was definitely bigger. I think there was less for people to do then, weren't there, in them days?
That's right.
You know, there were no
There's less
Sky
on TV as well, stuff like that.
No Sky TV. You know, all these other things what people can do with their spare time. You know, the people led quite simple lives, I think, back then. So stock car racing was, you know, that Saturday night going watching that was a real big thing back then. Yeah,
a full family thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, and like as a little kid, all my friends were all at the tracks as well. I was a proper stock car kid, if you like. Just like my two were when they were growing up. You know, you get to the tracks and
they were run off.
That's where all your mates were. You know, you'd see them every week, and you'd basically get together and you'd do the same things. You'd go in play in the same mud pile. You'd play stock cars around the same bit of the terracing. You know, and wonderful time, fantastic memories of childhood stock car racing. Yeah, for sure.
Just in the coach with your dad going all over the country.
All over, yeah, all over. And then
as you say, you first see. Well, from a young age then you saw how popular your old man was. I didn't realise I had all that stuff. So you straight away knew your dad's line was probably the biggest line.
100%. Yeah, it was. You know, and if you come off after a race, say you'd had a little bit of a run-in with somebody, my God, the car was surrounded by people 3 or 4 deep. You couldn't get the mechanics couldn't get on the car to work on it half the time. You know, because stock car fans love a bit of beef, don't they?
Yeah, of course.
You know, they're not different now. They always have, you know, and I mean, just the sheer numbers of people. Yeah, I definitely knew my dad, but it was weird, really, because to me, he was just my dad. You know, during the week, he had an old garage, dressed scruffy, went to work. You know, probably in some ways, quite a loner in a lot of ways. He didn't really have anybody in tow during the week. He did his own thing. And then at weekends, he turned into this sort of megastar, you know, and he played to it as well.
He liked that. He liked the fact that he did have, it was a turn on of the weekend, yeah.
My dad wasn't a particularly extrovert type of person until he got in his overalls at a stock car track, or he got some beer down his neck. But, you know, when he was a racer, you know, when it sort of, I think it was the era, like the 1970s, he had overalls with tassels on and, you know, all that sort of thing. And he put tinsel on the car just to wind people. He used to love winding the crowd up.
Just to play to it.
Just to say,
coming out on track, you see it very few, like not as much nowadays, but then playing to the crowd. And when you are in the crowd, you think, that's the nuts. When they just do that little thing. Yeah. But he was going out there and doing it quite a bit.
He was the best at it, he really was.
The thing is, when you are that good, it's hard not to, especially if you're getting reactions as well. Yeah. And you're like, you know, as soon as I go like that.
That's right.
And the crowd start going nuts, you think, yeah, well, that's mad. But then at the same time, you come home during the week and he was just a normal guy. Which is probably the best way to be. I mean, these big celebrities now that can't get a break. Whereas like your dad comes in the week, just go and do my work and that was it. I leave it at the weekend. Yeah,
I mean, the track we spoke about there, Bellevue, when it was the meeting final, when you used to come out the pits at Bellevue, it was a bit of an incline onto the track. You'd almost go up a little hill and then over the berm and onto the track. And it was post and rope fence then. You know, they used to take the ropes down between races to get the cars on and off. And the pit gate where it used to go on there was in between 2 bloody great grandstands, so it were almost like a tunnel. And what the promoter used to do at the time, because he was a proper promoter, he put a good show on, he used to start fastening the pit gate up, and the crowd would think, what's up with Smithy? Where's Smithy? Why is Smithy not coming out? And then my dad would come out and he'd hit this ramp and he'd jump the bottom rope with his stock car. And he'd actually jump it and land on the track and spin it sideways like that. And the air horns would go off. And I can remember it like, I can honestly really remember it graphically, you know, even though it was probably 40 years ago.
That's mad. And that was all pre-planned, sort of like, this is what we do. This is what we do to get the crowd going.
He didn't do it every time. He just used to do it, you know, but yeah, now and again.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's putting a show on.
It's putting a show on, exactly, yeah.
Definitely.
That's the thing you got to do, innit?
Nice. And then, so watching him, what was your best, before we move on, what was your best memory of your dad racing as you as a child?
Oh, gosh. My best memories, probably
like the one you probably
revolve around World Championship wins, to be fair. You know, I mean, I know racing's about much more than World Championships, but as a kid growing up, it just seemed to be a real focal point. You know, the World Final. you know, my dad went quite a few years, and he won a couple of world finals early in his career before I was born. And then I think I was 7 or 8 year old before he won his next one. So he went about 8-9 years, and he never won one. Yeah, because back then you had semi-finals like you do now. But if you bummed out in your semi, you broke down or something or crashed.
There was no consolation.
You didn't get a last chance. They didn't do any of that. So he didn't actually get in probably half a dozen world finals. And if you can imagine, the biggest driver in the sport by far, who used to win finals on a weekly basis, you know, without trouble, not in the biggest race of the year.
Yeah.
So, like, as I got a little bit older and started to take notice of the racing, these world finals were such a big thing, because he then started to hit the numbers with the world finals then. You know, he won in 1980, then he won in 83, 84, 85, which are my sort of developing years, just, you know, turning, you know, 10, 11, 12-year-old, when you start taking notice of racing.
You can actually
take it in. So I suppose the world finals are what really stick in my mind. And the best world final he ever won, in my opinion, was at Bellevue Stadium in 1984, when he started on about 4th or 5th row. He didn't start up the front, and he hit a parked car halfway through and dropped back, and he had to come through the field to win it. And it was, the atmosphere that night.
They're always the best ones, though.
Yeah.
They're always going to be the best ones when you've got to work for it.
Yeah, he had to really work for it. And the atmosphere you can't really describe it, because it was his home track. You know, probably 70% of the fans in there were Smithy fans, really. 30% hated him. Yeah. You know, so
the fact that he went backwards and everyone's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Starts coming back through, and the crowds. Yeah. Obviously, you imagine in that stadium as well, the crowd's just going, oh my God, he might be able to do it, actually. He might be able to do it. And then he obviously finally takes it.
Yeah, anybody who, just look it up on YouTube, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. 1984, right, Bellevue Stadium.
We'll remember that.
Yeah, real good.
Should write it down.
So that's probably one of my best memories. And also going to Holland with my dad. He used to go and race over in Holland on...
I've seen the videos.
Have you seen some of them?
Yeah. Barlow,
the long track.
I watched a few of them not long ago.
What they used to call the long track. You know, it was a bloody great track I think it was about a kilometre all the way around.
We went Venray last year, and Nick took us, who we went Venray with, he took us to the track.
Oh, to the old track?
To the old track, the old Barlow, and there's a road that goes up next to it.
There is.
And he's driving along and he's like, no, this is still the track, still the track, still the track.
Yeah.
And then we got out, looked at the fence, and you struggled to see the other side of it. It's got quite loads of weeds on it and that, and you're like,
right.
Wow, some F1's really roared around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was another real memory, which, again, you'll find it on the internet somewhere.
I've seen it.
When he put their top driver over the wall, upside down, he turned him over. And,
So he was there watching that?
Yeah, I remember it well. We was in the crowd, and I was stood with a couple of my dad's mechanics, and we didn't feel very safe, to be honest. The Dutch fans were not happy, because they weren't really used to any sort of contact around that track, because contact at the speeds they do around the long track, or the speeds they did, was a little bit frowned upon, too much contact. Yeah. Because it wasn't really safe.
No.
And my dad just went full on. He knew he only had one chance. This guy had a better engine. He had better everything. We had better gear ratio. My dad was always a bit hampered around the long track. His car wasn't suitable. He just used to go and do his best. A lot of the time it was a social thing.
Yeah.
You know. And the guy who we've turned over, just to tell you quickly, it backfired on him really, because his mechanic, the night before, they used to have a party in the bar before the world final meeting, the long track world final meeting. It wasn't a 2-day event back then, it was just literally on the Sunday. So they used to have a party in the grandstand bar. And Friedhelm Welters were their top driver at the time, and his mechanics spent all night getting my dad pissed. So he was absolutely smashed. The mechanics had to tip a 5-gallon drum of water over him before he strapped in the car for that race, because he was still half cut. And he probably wouldn't have pulled that manoeuvre if he'd have been 100% sober.
No, so they end up shooting himself in the foot.
Well, they did, yeah, because he ended up upside down.
He's gone along. They ain't getting that fast. Bosh. You just completely misjudged him, put him over the wall. Oh.
I tell you, you're not far from the truth there. Yeah. He didn't mean to do it that hard.
He won it though, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He came second because he didn't drive well after that. Because he was still half cut. Yeah, should have won it, but he never won the long track.
He's going on, winning this. Yeah. Next thing you know, someone's just come roaring past. Oh mate,
that was my dad at that stage in his career, though, because that was towards the end of his career.
Right.
And he was still banging in world final wins, but he wasn't as serious week to week with his racing. He used to go, it was a big social thing as much as anything.
Yeah.
You know, he had all his mates and mechanics, and it was a big, I'd like to say it were a family thing, but it weren't really a family thing. It were more of a beer, the beer outing, really, a Jolly Boys outing.
Instead of going down the pub, he was going racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, towards the last few years, it became a lot like that. And if I'm honest with you, I was then like a teenager, and I didn't really like that aspect.
You start noticing and seeing it.
I noticed it, and I saw it, and I were more for the racing. You know, we're like, come on, Dad, the car's not right. You know, it needs.
And you're not bothering. Yeah.
He weren't bothering no as much, but because of his ability, come the big occasion, he was still the best. But yeah, that's the way it was.
Fair enough. So then, at what point then was you thinking, I'm definitely going to race? Or was it your dad saying to you, no, you're going to race? Or was it you pushing your dad? What age was that?
Well, I started in national ministocks.
Yeah.
I think I was 10-year-old when I started. You were allowed to do it from 10 then. Mm-hmm. And I probably started, I think it was probably about 10 and a half, something like that. And my dad got me, I don't know really, I think my dad got me a Mini from somebody who'd retired. But I don't ever remember really pushing for it. I think he just got...
It was there.
It was there. 1 minute it weren't, and then it turned up at the yard. But I was with only being 10-year-old, I didn't really have a clue. But I tried my hardest. I spent a couple of years. I used to think I worked on it, but I didn't really get anywhere with it. And my dad was still racing the F1s, and when he wasn't doing the F1s, he was out around the local town with his friends. Because when he was a young fella, he was so entrenched with stock car racing. He never really had a massive life outside of stock cars.
Right.
But in his latter years of racing, he had both. He had a social life around Rochdale, which was our town. He used to go in the nightclubs and the pubs with his mates. And then some of them mates used to come racing with us. And he sort of had that side of it. So he wasn't really that interested in my mini stock racing, if I'm honest with you.
No.
It was just a bit of an afterthought. We used to chuck it on the back of the bus and...
Because they were always on with F1s. Were they on with F1s all the time?
Quite a lot. They was on with the Formula 1,
so
yeah.
just chuck your car in and we'd go...
Yeah,
you could do a bit of racing.
The problem was, you know, my memories of my early mini stock racing, not really that pleasurable because a lot of my friends who did mini stocks, they probably did it a bit like nearly everybody does it now, whereas the dads are fully behind the kids racing and they go to that race meeting to do the mini stocks, whereas I was one of them where I went to the race meeting as an add-on because my dad raced a stock car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just remember back then, the minis now are lucky because back then we just used to get 2 races before the meeting. We only got 1 race during the meeting, but 2 of the races were like pre-meeting, really. Yeah. So they were back-to-back races. We used to stay on the track, petrol it back up and do a second race.
Right.
And that's what they used to do at most of the mini stock meetings when the Formula 1s were on. So I always remember we never used to get there early enough. More often than not, we'd be pulling in on the coach. I'd be dead nervous because I were racing. And we'd get in the stadium and I'd hear this sound and the minis were racing. So I'd be lucky if we had to try and pester them to put the fence down, the rope fence, so I could get out for the second race.
Right.
Because I very rarely got there for the first race. Well, a lot of the time I didn't.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a very confident driver because I never felt confidence. I were always like, because that puts you on a bit of you're rushing then, aren't you? And
you're not relaxed
you get a bit et up. And I were only like 10, 11, 12.
And your dad's probably like, come on, get out, go on.
That's it, and just shoved me out there. And I weren't really any good. I didn't do any good in minis for probably 4 years until my last season. And
is that when you started working on your car? Is that what the difference was? Or
I'd started doing bits when I was probably 14 and 13 and getting better at it. But it was sort of a bit of a solo effort. Nobody really helped me.
Was there none of your dad's mechanics bothering?
They weren't interested in my dad's mechanics. No, they were more interested in Formula 1. The minis were, back then, minis were a bit like, did you say you did do Speedway minis?
ORC, yeah. The Speedway ones, yeah.
Well, the ORC minis were all the inner wings were still, the Brisca minis were like ORC are now. You've got to have the original wings on and all the inner wings were still, they were a bastard to work on. Right? You know, you couldn't get at anything.
No.
So none of the Formula 1 lads wanted to work on it.
Could be bothered. Yeah.
Couldn't be bothered with it. So I just I learnt myself how to do the basics. But then in my last season, somebody took pity on me actually, a guy who knew an awful lot about mini stocks, but he didn't live locally to us. He lived like in the Midlands, but he was heavily involved with the mini-stock scene at the time. He ran the club. And I'd just got a new Mini. I'd built one. My dad had helped me a bit. Then some of my mates had helped me, and I put this Mini together. We went out racing, and it broke down in the first meeting. And this fella looked at me, and he thought, "This is no good," you know. And he offered to my dad. He says, "Look, why don't you let me take the Mini, get it ready, get it prepped properly?" Because he could work on him. He knew what he was doing more than I did. And he says, "I won't charge you. You just pay for the parts." So that were easy for me dad, weren't it? It got me off his back.
Yeah.
And
so he didn't have to work on it.
No. So we sent the Mini down to the Midlands, and then it snowballed from there. The fella then decided he said, "I'll keep it and run it for you." So I actually, for my last full season in mini stocks, I used to get lifts to the tracks with, like, let's say a mini stock driver who were local to me. So I'd jump in with him and his family, and I'd go to the track and meet my Mini at the track. So I was on an arrive and drive sort of thing. Well, I just went from zero to hero. You know, I just like...
Well, you've actually
my
got somebody...
racing just transformed.
You've actually got someone working it that knows what they're doing. You're just tinkering with something, thinking you're doing something. You're probably making it worse. But fair play, who was it?
It was a guy called Martin O'Neill. And
just because you're really the son of Stuart Smith, Senior, probably in...
I think he was running the mini stock club, and he'd actually ran a similar deal with Frankie Wayman Jr.
Right.
For a couple of seasons. Frankie's a little bit older than me, probably 18 months older than me, so he'd retired from minis. And I think this fella were a bit of a loose end. So
he needed something to do.
He just dropped really lucky, really, that I had the car, and some of the equipment, and he had the time and the knowledge, and the desire to help.
Do you know what that is as well? That's him seeing you putting your all into it or trying.
Yeah, possibly.
He's seeing you trying. You know, if you just turn up and didn't really bother, but he probably see you trying to work on your car and you're not getting anywhere, and he thought, you know what, he's actually really trying. I'll give him a chance. Give you a chance, and you went and smashed it.
He did, and
if you, I don't think if you turn up to me and was like, looking at it, he probably wouldn't have bothered because you're not bothered. But because you was, the opportunity came.
Yeah,
you found the opportunity.
Yeah, it was really strange.
It found you.
So I had a full year then, my last full year at racing, and I had a fantastic year. You know, loads of stuff. You know, just like different driver, but
you actually enjoyed.
I enjoyed it, and I got more confident, more self-confident. You know, with my driving, and that was it really. And then that was the end of mini stocks. Then it was all over. Just got good, and then it were all over. Yeah. That's how it was.
So then, what was it like? What was next after that? Did you do V8s or did you go F1s?
I did what were then called hot stocks, which I think they're called V8 stock cars now. I went into them because how did I end up going into them? I went into them because Formula One was a no-no, because Dad had retired from stock cars then. My dad retired in 1986.
Yeah.
I retired from minis in 88, so there was a 2.5-3 year period for me becoming 16 from my dad retiring. Well, when my dad packed in stock cars, he sold everything. You know, he didn't hold anything back thinking I might race. He got rid of all his stuff, his transporter, his stock car, even all his wheels and tyres, spares, everything. And so when I was 16, I was obviously wanting to carry on with my racing career. And to get started again in Formula Ones would have been impossible for me. Just
the pure money, the outset of buying everything.
No chance. I mean, transport-wise, we had a recovery truck, what we used to use for the garage, so that weren't a problem. I had a transporter to use, just a beaver tail, little Ford cargo.
Yeah.
So I got that, and my dad had actually sold quite a lot of his spares, not his car, all his spares and his leftovers. Frankie Wayman Senior. He had it all because he used to run quite a few stock cars back then for different people.
The same as what Junior does now.
Yeah, so he's always in the hunt for parts. So I remember him coming to our garage once when I've only been about 13 when my dad retired. And he came and we had a couple of Luton bodies outside in the yard, and they were full of stock car bits. And he came and he took everything. Absolutely cleaned my dad out of every nut and boy. I think he swept up when he went. Everything went. But he didn't quite pay for everything.
Oh.
So he owed me dad a few quid, which weren't a problem. And a couple of years went by, and my dad's opportunity to square it up with Frank was maybe for Frank to build me a V8 hot stock, which is what happened.
Right.
So Frankie were good enough to do that. You know, he was busy with his Formula One stuff, but he did it because it sorted my dad out and they could, you know, they were done. So he built me this V8 hot stock, and we got it back from Silsden. I remember going picking it up, and we got it back, and he'd built it all and everything, but the running gear back then were out of an old transit van, you know, the axles. Well, the axles, he'd literally just put them underneath, so they needed all taking off. So I spent probably 3 or 4 months learning it myself, and
just you doing it,
just me. Went through it all, you know, reconditioned all the bearings, got everything good. I built my own engine. I bought an old SD1 Rover car.
Was it Rover V8s though?
Rover V8, yeah. So I bought an old SD1 Rover. I can't remember. It might have come in Part X in the yard. I can't remember. Anyway, I got this old car. I lugged the engine out of it. Asked a few people what to do with these engines. So I bought a camshaft for it from Kent Cams. I thought I was the man. I was going to rebuild this engine. Built this Rover engine up. I didn't know what I was doing. But I had a go. I built the engine up and I got it all in this stock car. And I remember I got it out for the last meeting of 19... I was determined to get this car out during the 1989 season, which was me when I'd packed minis in at the start of the year, 89. So I got all season getting this stock car from Frankie and then getting it smart and building this engine. And I got out for the last ever meeting. And I couldn't get the thing to run at the garage during the day, I'll never forget. And we were dragging it up the road and all sorts, just a calamity. My dad weren't there because my dad was a stock car promoter then. He went into promoting and he had a track at Scunthorpe where he used to promote.
Is that the track that's still there now?
It's not, no. It got developed years and years ago. But yeah, this track at Scunthorpe, not too far from the one now. But my dad became a promoter, so he was running a meeting at Scunthorpe. So I'm at the garage on my own, and I got one of the lads who used to work for us was helping me. We couldn't get this car going. Anyway, we got a bit of a run out of it. So I says, like, get it on the wagon, we'll go to Birmingham. So we went to Birmingham Wheels. It's not round the corner, over 2 hours away, with this car that we didn't know it were running very well. So we got there, and we got there halfway through the meeting because we were late. And I got it on track, and I went on track. I think I did a lap and a half. And the engine just grenaded.
Oh, no.
Grenaded itself. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So all my hard work I just wasted my time and my money and everything. Just a disaster.
But
I'll never forget, it was the last meeting of the year, Tebs, right? And it was Birmingham Wheels, and this particular meeting, the hot stocks used to be on at the last meeting every year. And there were no Formula One meetings on that night. Formula Ones had finished the week before. So all my friends from Formula Ones, Peter Falding, Ray Tilsley, all these famous Formula One stock car drivers who I used to knock about with, they all went to watch me. And I just felt such an idiot. Just felt a total idiot, honestly. They were all there to support me and watch me, and I did a lap and a half. And that when we started my hot stock career, not very good.
Did they know that you'd built the engine before they come? Did you tell them, I've built this engine, I've put this together?
Probably not. I just kept it to myself.
Can you imagine watching that?
Yeah, so it was a bit embarrassing, really. But then I had all winter then to learn how to... We say in life, don't they, you get something wrong before you get it right.
100%.
It's very true.
100%. The fact that you gave it a go and done it is massive anyway. But, I mean, you did get the car out for that season.
Yeah, I was determined to get it out
for that season.
I was determined to get it out. I got it out for 1.5 laps. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So
what a brilliant story.
That, yeah, and then, a good three-year career in hot stocks, I think. I did 3 years altogether.
You get up to Red Roof Superstar.
Yeah, I turned it around pretty quick. The next year, I learnt myself more. I built the engine properly. Mm-hmm. Came out. I think I went from white to red in the first month.
Oh,
and
right.
I never
Straight
looked back
away.
after that.
Yeah.
I think won the national championship.
Is this still on your own?
I had one of my dad's old mechanics used to help me, but during the week I was just on my own, really. Yeah, I didn't,
just tinkering and doing what you're doing.
Just doing it. Used to finish work, go in the stock car garage and work till all hours, and that's what makes you what you are in a stock car.
Oh, definitely.
Side of things,
them hours in the garage, whether you're on your own or not, you've got to put the hours in. Sometimes it's better on your own when you've got to do a lot of thinking and whatnot, and other times you wish you had a few extra people there when you've got tyres to do and all that stuff.
That's right, but, yeah. Sometimes it is nice just on your own, but you do need... Sometimes it's nice having a few lads with you in the garage, innit? Just a bit of camaraderie and
just
have a bit of a laugh, It gets a bit lonely when you're just on your own all the time, doesn't it, I suppose?
It's nice to have a balance of it anyway. Definitely. So then 3 years in the V8s,
Yeah,
And
3
then
years, I think.
What was then the jump into F1? Because I can imagine money-wise and the whole thing is probably a massive jump, isn't it? The only thing that's similar is the actual car frame, the car chassis.
Similar, but not
Still
where you
not.
could really use the same one.
Right, okay.
Because a lot of the plate thicknesses were different. And I think there was a couple of guys who did convert one way to the other, or, either or. But I never did. I ended up, like I said, in 3 years, and then I went into the Formula Ones, but it was never a plan. It was never planned to do that. They were always sort of, Formula Ones were up there, and I were happy to do the V8s, but I built myself that, what did I do? No, the first ever car I ever built in hot stocks was a hot stock, sorry. And I'd done 2 years with the Wayman car, heavily revamped myself. And then I built myself a new car for my 3rd year in hot stocks. By then I was right at the top of the sport, and I wanted something a bit better.
Yeah.
So I built myself a tarmac special car, and we came out with that. And obviously I had good F1 connections by then. I used to help Peter Folden. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, big name.
Yeah, I used to help him.
Still builds cars now, doesn't he?
Yeah, he still builds a lot of cars. Yeah, he always has done. And I used to help him from being a young kid. Even when my dad packed up racing, I went with Peter for a few years, crewed for him, while I was still doing ministocks. And I learnt a lot of Peter. And obviously, I learnt a lot of him. I learnt a lot of watching what Frankie were doing at the time. Frankie Jr., he'd gone straight into F1s. So he had a good few years head start on me. He'd been in F1s probably a lot more than me. So I built this hot stock anyway for me, what was to be my last year. I didn't plan it that way. But it had quite a bit of F1 influence. By then, the F1 cars were getting pretty good on tarmac.
Yeah.
The tarmac specials had moved on. They'd gone on racing tyres, but the suspension were changing, the offsets in the cars, the weight distribution, all these sort of things were...
started coming into play.
And I was watching it, and I was looking, and I was learning, and I adapted what I thought would work in a hot stock. Before I built this car, all the hot stocks were basically like a Formula 2 is now. You could put a mirror down the middle and there'd be a mirror image, symmetrical from the middle out. So there were no real offset going on. There were no thought as to where the weight distribution could be. So I built this car, and it was really low, really offset. And I'm not being horrible, but it went out there and it wiped the floor with everything, to be fair. And when I built it, we rushed it to get it out for the first meeting.
As always.
I finished it on the day, and I got to the meeting, and I went out and I won. It was at Hennisford, and I won heat final and Grand National from a lap down. And
no practice in it.
No practice. Anyway, they weighed me after. They didn't have any scales or anything then, and they pulled this crane out on the infield after the Grand National, and they got this hook out with a weight scale, and they weighed it, and I thought, No, I didn't have any scales. What we used to do to weigh a car back then, we used to go to the council yard in Rochdale where they had a weigh bridge. But because I didn't finish the car till the Saturday, the Saturday, we were racing on the Sunday, I finished it on the
This
Saturday
is just for the
afternoon.
minimum weight, yeah?
Yeah,
go on.
So anyway, I had not had opportunity to weigh this car. Anyway, I weighed it and it was underweight. It was 35 kilos because I couldn't go to the weigh bridge because it was a Saturday and it was shut.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was 35 kilos under, which is quite a bit, isn't it? It's not nothing. So anyway, they'd had a problem a couple of weeks before. They had a general weighing at Birmingham of all the cars. And what they did was they found about 3 or 4 cars underweight and about 10 cars overweight. Because they didn't have weigh-ins in them days like they do now.
Yeah.
So they had this general weighing. Anyway, what they did, they gave everybody a ticket and gave them 2 weeks to put the cars right. But they didn't do that with me when they weighed me. They weighed this brand new car first time out, and they took all my results off me for the day, which I said, fine, I don't want the results, the car's not right. But they banned me for about a month as well. And I said, hang on a minute. I said, you've gone from giving everybody 2 weeks to put cars right to the next move you make is to ban me for a month. I said, and I felt it was harsh because it ruined my season. It took me out of the chance of the National Points Championship.
Yeah.
So I fell out of love with hot stocks after that.
And your eyes then turned.
So we came back into it a month later. I put 35 kilos right down the left side of the car and went back to Ennisford and won heat final and national again.
Right.
So
It probably would have helped, if anything, a bit more inside
better.
weight, yeah.
I let go of the steering wheel and it went left on its own with all that weight on the left side. You see. I mean, it had loads of left side weight anyway. So anyway, I proved a point there, and I spent the rest of the year winning everything on tarmac with it. Won the world final, finished my career really well. But from the point of getting banned, I felt a bit of an injustice. I knew I'd done wrong.
Yeah.
But I didn't really feel the punishment didn't really,
right.
not in keeping with what were going on. I was made a bit of a scare. It was because I went so well in it. That's what it was. Anyhow, it sort of mentally I'd moved away then, and I was thinking of Formula One. So at the end of the year, I got all my hot stocks gear together, sold it all for Brewster money because it was top stuff.
Yeah.
And I got enough money to buy a Chevy engine and a gearbox, one of them quick change gearboxes. What they still run them now. So I got enough money to buy a second-hand big block. I'd located this engine, which I knew was a real good one. It was second-hand, but the guy who built it was really good. He was a really clever man. I knew of him right well. So I got my eye on this engine, and I managed to get enough money together to buy this engine and this gearbox, and I built my own Formula One then, and started in Formula Ones 1993. Yeah.
So really, you from the get-go, you have had the right headspace and the right ability to do it, really, because it's not an easy task for one at 15 working on your own car, 14, 15 working on your own car, to then building your own hot stock at, would that have been 19 then? 18,
yeah,
19,
about 19.
And then straight away after that, building an F1. I mean, I know you was around enough people, but it's still some skill at that age to be able to do that. And build one and it actually do really well. I know anyone, you could put one together and not really think too much and it end up going crap. But so from an early age, because obviously later on you built all of your F1s that were very successful. But yeah, from an early age that was...
Especially from an early age.
If your old man wasn't there holding your hand the whole time, this is how you do this, is how you do this. No. It was more... Which probably even helped maybe more because you're more determined then. I want to do it. I want to do it. He's not helped me as much, but I want to do it, which is probably... helped definitely, yeah.
I've always said my dad was it was a massive inspiration, and a massive driving force. It was a driving force because I didn't want to be a failure. I wanted to be
100%.
I honestly knew I would never be what he was, and that wasn't the idea. But I didn't want to be crap. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to be,
which is where the fire come. Yeah, 100%.
And my dad always backed me. He had a good garage, welders. I never paid for any gas. I had a wagon I could use, insured. So I couldn't have done stock cars without my dad.
No.
But he never had a hands-on involvement in what I did as regards picking the tools up, picking the weld, He never physically...
He gave you the tools.
Yeah,
there you
but
go.
I had to do it myself. But I respected him for that because I think I learned better. For it being 100%, like that.
100%.
Plus, when my dad was my age, when he first came into stock cars, his dad was quite overpowering. He was the boss. He was in charge. He ran the stock cars. He ran the work. So my dad was a little bit oppressed. That's a bit too extreme, but
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, he had to do as he was told, and he had to toe the line. I think because of that, he never took that tack with me. Nor my younger brother. He let us make our own mess ups and learn our own mistakes.
And once you've messed up, you messed that up. Don't do that again.
Yeah, I told you the tale before about the engine. I've made lots of mistakes.
Yeah,
but you don't get anywhere if you don't try, do you?
Definitely.
But just learnt myself, and
that is some going. So then, from building that first car, how did you get on with that?
Oh, the Formula One.
The first Formula One.
Yeah, Well, I debuted it in 1993. I was a bit late starting because when I packed the hot stocks in, like I say, I got all my money together for the F1 stuff. But I built a couple of hot stocks for people because my cars were like the thing to have. So I took the opportunity during the winter to
make some money.
To go racing with. So that put me on the back burner with my car. So I didn't get out until, I think I didn't come out till about June or something like that. So I missed the qualifying rounds. So I didn't go into the World Championship that year, but I started in about June, and I come out with this car, and it was like a scaled up version of my hot stock, really. It was quite small for a Formula One in looks, and it was bang on minimum weight. Everything was quite minimalistic on it. It wasn't a very strong car. Probably should have built a stronger one.
For your first one?
Yeah, but I didn't. But it was quite a fast car and it proved really good. I did really well in my first year, to be fair. I was happy. I think I won a couple of little championships and I got up to red top, and the best win I had in my first year was on the World Final night. It was at Coventry, the World Final, and Peter won the World Final, folding. I wasn't in it, obviously. I'd not gone through the qualifiers. But I was red top for the first time that night, and I won the final on the meeting final on World Final night in front of a big crowd. So yeah, I was buzzing at that. That was
going to be some moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I loved it. And then I think they had a little series at the end of the year. They used to call it the Grand Prix series, and I think it was a run of about 8 or 10 meetings at the tail end of the year to keep the racing alive. It was a bit like a shootout now.
They did a shootout
but
now,
not as high stakes. There was no roof colour on it. And I did really well in that. I don't think I won. I think I got second, but I ran...
In your first year?
Yeah, I ran young Frankie and Lundy. I was up there batting with them, holding me on. So I had a really good start in my first year, and then... and then my second year, I won the World Final in my second year, so I was like...
You won it in your second year?
Yeah, my first World Final ever winning. Yeah.
Annoying.
So
that's great. I knew you
sort
won
of had
early
a
on.
real- I think the years in the hot stocks
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
learnt
yeah.
me as an engineer and a driver.
Yeah.
It was... Them 3 years was invaluable because I hit the ground running when I come into Formula Ones. I wasn't a raw beginner.
No.
So I didn't have to go through all them things and make them mistakes. I did them in the hot stocks.
And you saved
For
yourself
less
a few,
money.
a few pennies. You
There
saved
you
yourself
go.
a few
My
pennies.
mistakes weren't as expensive in that
Yes,
job.
exactly.
So when I come into the F1s, I was conditioned for it quite
That's
well.
crazy. That's great. What was that like? That World Final win in your second year
Oh, it was...
with your family, your dad.
Oh, it was unreal. I mean, again, it was a hell of a story behind it. I built... My first full year I came out and I built myself a new car for that year as well.
Oh, you done another new
I
car?
did another new car for tarmac.
Oh, you were keen, weren't you?
Yeah,
he
so
was keen.
I built this tarmac car and it was really low, really offset. I did quite a few things different to what anybody had done. Because by then, the tarmac cars were all running what they call small block Chevy, which
Yeah.
is what they run now.
Yeah.
Whereas the big block Chevy, the big heavy engine, which I had in my stock car, and what was starting to go out of fashion a little bit by then. They were just starting to go out of fashion, especially on tarmac, because the little engines, they pick up and they shut down a lot better and all the rest of it. But I couldn't afford a new engine. I couldn't afford a small block. I got this really good big block. So what I did, I spent $2,000 buying an old big block, an old 454 that were not very good. It weren't very powerful, but it were all right. So I put that into my first car to run on shale.
Yeah.
And then I got my best engine, and I went to America and I bought a whole dry sump, a dry sump oil system. I went to America and I sourced it all, and back then you got no internet. So I was sending for catalogues through the post for America, and I got all these catalogues and I got all my bits together, what I wanted. So I went out to America, to Florida on holiday, and I picked them all up from speed shops.
Holiday.
Yeah, working holiday.
Yeah, that wasn't holiday.
And I got all these parts to dry sump this engine. Because when you dry sump it, you see, you go from an 8-inch sump to a 4-inch sump, which means you can get the engine 4 inches lower. And with a big block Chevy, if you can get the engine that low, you can go over as well to get the exhaust under the chassis. So I built this new tarmac car with a really low down offset engine and an offset back axle. And in my mind, it was the only way I could make a big block engine compete against small block cars, which were the fast cars on tarmac at the time.
What's the difference between the engine prices and small block and big block? Then mass, too much more. It was more of a price for then you to have to do all that work to get it.
There probably wasn't a lot of difference in price, but I didn't have the money to spend 11 or 12 grand on a new engine for my new tarmac car.
Yeah, I got you.
So I spent
You're good.
3.5 grand dry sumping it, my good one that I'd already bought and it were paid for.
Had anyone done that before?
No, nobody had dry sumped a big block and
Right.
done what I did.
Right.
Not that I know of anyway. Maybe in Holland they might have done it, but nobody in England. So yeah, I did all that. So I built this new tarmac car. Again, I didn't get it out until I built it in mind to go to Holland and race in the long track. So I built it and I just got it finished in time for the long track world final, which was the August. So we went out to the long track, did really well. I think I got 4th in the long track, never been there before. And I got a 2nd. The car were really good. I was really happy with it. It weren't as powerful as some of the Dutch cars, but it It wasn't really for the long track. It was for our tracks, but it would perform well. And we come back home, and I'd won my I got second in my semi-final, so I were on second row of the world final at Bradford on Shale. And the Shale car, I got sponsored an engine. A sponsor came along, and he provided me an engine for my Shale car to run for the world final.
So you had a good Shale engine now.
So then I got, because my old £2,000 the one I told you about that I bought on the cheap, it wasn't doing the job on the Shale, I was struggling. So one of my sponsors, he bought an engine, and it was his engine. He said, I'll put it in your car for the world final. I said, it's too right. So I adapted all my car to fit this brand new small block engine. So I got the wrong engine in the wrong car, really, but it was just the way it went. Anyway, this got it all done just in time for the world final. And the week before the world final, on the Thursday before the Saturday, the engine, the block cracked in the garage. Something told me on the Thursday night to run it up and get it warm, make sure it's all right for the world final, because it had all been put in 2 weeks previous. We'd only done one meeting with this new engine in. Anyway, the block cracked. It got warm and the sump filled up with water. So I thought, what am I going to do now? So anyway, I couldn't put the big block out of my tarmac car into my Shale car.
It wouldn't fit.
It wouldn't fit. It was dry sumped. The Shale car had been changed to put this small block in. Oh. So it's like putting a, square peg in a round hole, really. It wouldn't work. So I had to race me tarmac special in the world final. Bearing in mind, it's this low thing, all offset, and just not suitable for Shale at all. So the shockers weren't long enough for anything, So on the Friday, I spent all day, I had a day off work. I put long shockers on the back, changed all the suspension. I can't remember what else. Did loads of stuff, as much as I could do. Got in the wagon on Friday night, drove all the way down to Long Eaton, a track at Nottingham at the time. There was a track at a place called Long Eaton. It was a Shale track. It's gone now. Anyway, they was running a Formula 2 meeting on the Friday night, and I rung the promoter up and I begged him to have a practice.
Just give me a few laps, please.
So he says, right, you can come, he says, but I will get some murder for it. He says, you can have half a dozen laps, that's all you're having. So that's all I need. So I went down to Long Eaton, did half a dozen laps on the Friday night in my tarmac car, twiddled with my brakes, changed a couple of patches, didn't change them, but I changed them after, got a balance, sussed out what I needed to do for Saturday at the world final. So worked all Saturday on it, changing stuff, went to Bradford on the Saturday and won the world final in my tarmac car.
What?
Bit fortunate.
What?
Your favourite man, Frankie, should have won, but his engine went. So I picked the pieces up with that one.
To be fair.
But it was a good second place. I'd have been happy, more than delighted with second
to be fair,
the first world final.
Did you go in there thinking, I might have this, or was it going in there, I'll just do what I can do?
Well,
That's crazy, isn't it?
I knew I got the wrong... On paper, I got the wrong car for the job.
Yeah, of course.
But it was a stock car, and I just thought, I'm just going to drive it as best I can. And I put the first and second place out. I got rid of them. I drove really well to get in the lead, but I just didn't have the speed for Wayman, and he caught me up, and he edged me out, and he got away, and it was his race to win. But he'd only been past me a couple of laps, and he went in the corner in front of me. There were like probably 5 or 6 cars in front of me, and he flicked it in the corner. And I saw a load of steam come out from underneath the car. And I thought, has he run through a puddle? I thought, there's no puddles down the bottom of the track there. And then he went in the next corner, he did it again. But all the time, he's pulling away a little bit because he's got the faster car. But the thing's throwing steam out. So I settled for what I got. And I'm watching him, I'm thinking, that's not right. And then it started to blue smoke.
Oh. And
then it started getting nearer to me.
The engine's going.
Poor sod, his engine just... I think he tried to keep going, and I think he got within 2 laps of the flag.
No.
But he never finished. It just seized up solid on him, I think. So I inherited the win, but...
There's plenty you've lost.
Yeah, but...
Oh, 100%. There'd be a million loses to one. There'd be a million loses to one win.
The thing is,
your second season, no matter what. Oh, mate.
You need your luck, don't you? You have good luck and bad luck, and like Rebecca said, over the years, it tends to even itself out if you race for long enough, doesn't it?
100%.
But that year, I was just fortunate. But what a night to win the world final on my first ever attempt in Bradford Stadium in front of 14,000 people. It were packed.
Mental.
And a lot of them were still, my dad's old fans still around at that, they're still hanging about, so they
did they
levitated towards me. Yeah, I did get quite a few that you know,
they
attached
got
onto
to,
me a
haven't
bit.
they? They're not going to then go to Frankie because Stu
Yeah.
ain't out there.
So what a night. Fantastic. Yeah,
Oh,
brilliant.
I bet
yeah.
the party was good on that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were racing the next day actually at Northampton. So we went in the bar and had a right old, you know,
Oh, yes.
piss up. And then we had to drive back to Rochdale and then sprayed the roof gold and then 3 hours down to Northampton on Sunday morning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
'Cause that's like the tradition in Formula Ones, isn't it? Yeah. The
So
Northampton.
it was always
it used to
Northampton
be,
World
yeah.
Masters, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was always, you know, the world champion used to paint. He still does to a degree. Paint your roof and show it off day after. Yeah.
Nice. Brilliant. What a story.
So that's that.
In your own car that you built as well. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then going from there, your success obviously started very, very early on. Was it just kept going and going? Was there hard times? Was there...
Yeah. I mean, I had a really good, like I say, really good start. You know, world champion first full season.
Yeah.
National points champion the year after.
And this
And then it
is
just-
against the likes of Lundy,
Lundy
Wayman.
and Frankie really,
Yeah.
and Peter to a
You-
degree. Peter had gone doing a bit of circuit racing, Peter Folding, so he eased off a little bit. But Frankie and Lundy were the
top
main
boys.
ones, and
Yeah.
I, you know, by the time I won the silver roof in the year after the gold, I was up with them. Then, you know, I felt
Your name was there.
I felt I were on a par with them two, in my own mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, I had another decent year, and then things tailed off a little bit, but we
Is that
changed.
other people catching up? Because they would have seen your car and stuff like that. A lot of trends happened, didn't it? You
Yeah.
see some driver do that, and then all of a sudden, for
Yeah.
a couple of years, they're not quite there. But you didn't. It's
Yeah.
not you getting slower. It's everyone else has
Yeah.
picked up to your speed.
I took my foot off the gas, to be fair, thinking back now. Now I'm thinking about it. Because obviously, by that time, Lisa had moved up, my wife had moved up north, and, you know, we were living together. We bought our first house.
That changes things, doesn't it?
Yeah, we got, and I think we went down to one car, didn't I, Lisa? I sold a stock car and I sold quite a lot of gear, you know, because we had money to get our first house.
Yeah.
So I sort of backed off, and I did quite a few years just racing the one car, which was my first ever car I built. So it was getting a bit long in the tooth. It was still good on shale, but it weren't very good on tarmac. I didn't do all the meetings. I cut back for probably about 3 years, I think.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Someone's got to give.
Yeah, just well we got the our house and that, you know, did the stuff that you've got to do. And then I had another lease of life a bit later on. I got what did we do?
You built the boss. Built the boss. Yeah.
Oh, that was years later, yeah. Yeah. I built another car, probably, I'm going to say about 1999. I built a dual surface car, a brand new car. But I didn't want to go to two cars because I didn't have enough equipment around me. I'd have had to spend a load of money and I didn't want to. So I ran one car, but very much a dual surface to do shale and tarmac.
Purposely built like that, yeah.
I used to change axles. I used to do a lot of work, but it was basically the same car. I did about 3 years in that, and I had some great. So I went back to where I was then. I was like up there then. By that time, Rob Speake had started to come into Formula Ones. So it was Frankie, Speaky, and me for a few years. We were like at the top of the tree.
Lundy had dropped off by this
Lundy
point.
had eased off a little bit.
Yeah.
Although he was still winning world finals, week to week he'd eased off a bit. Mm-hmm. I'm going back 99, 2000, around the turn of the century, something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously Jessica came along in 99, so me and Lisa had got her then. So I wasn't as full on. I got one car. I did probably 80% of the meetings.
Still a lot, though.
Yeah, because we used to race 65, 70 times back then in a year. So I was still probably doing 45, 50 meetings, something like that. So it was still a fair old drain. And I just run that one car then. I never won a world final, right from that first one. Even with that car that car that I built for both surfaces, that was a bloody brilliant car. That should have won 2 world finals. You know, you talk about.
Is that when you're saying?
Yeah, you talk about bad luck. I had one at Coventry where the head gasket went with about 6 laps to go when I was walking it, and I managed to hang on and I got third, but crept over the line. And then I had another one which I were clear, and a broken half shaft. Broken half shaft. That was. So that were 2 years where I really felt it were mine.
Yeah.
And by that time it was starting to get to me because I'd gone
so
them
long.
years, that were 2000 and 2002. So if you imagine, I won it in 94. I was getting a bit sore by then.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8 years gone by. No world final again. And I was just like...
One hit wonder.
Yeah, it were getting to me. So then, I can't remember. Yeah, that took me up to 2002. Then I had a year off stock cars in 2003.
Completely.
That was the only year I had a year I didn't race. I sold my car, and I had a year off, and I went racing on. Have you ever heard of that oval at Rockingham?
Yeah.
They used to do.
Yeah.
Well, they called them ASCAR back then. They were like a bit like a British version of a NASCAR. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've heard of them.
Yeah.
I did them for a season.
Well,
I was
my
away-
old man actually took us to go have a look at them. Me and my sisters at Rockingham. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Did a race there. I raced at a place called Lausitzring in Germany. That was really good. That was my best meeting I had in them out there. Really enjoyed that. That was a huge track. That was like 2.5 miles around it. Massive, a big triangular shaped track.
Like a big American track.
Yeah,
really,
there's a track in America called Pocono, and it was modelled on that, and it's like a big triangle, but 2.5 miles round. It was like, took ages to get round it, but that was an experience. So I had a year doing them.
Why
And then-
was that? Just
I'll be honest with you. The end of 2002 was it was the first year when the sport changed from the silver roof was always on every meeting. So it was a full series every meeting, and they changed it in 2002 to a reduced number of meetings. I think it was 35 designated meetings with points
like as if it's a world qualifier. It would be a points qualifier, whatever.
Yeah.
A points round. That's
Yeah,
it,
there was 35 during the year, if I'm not mistaken. And me and Frankie were like the contenders for it, and I made a big effort. I only had one car at the time, so it was a lot of work changing over tarmac to shale, but we did it. And we got to went to the final round. It was like a decider. We was that close. And it was a horrible, shitty night at Coventry. Rained, and I went out for me heat. And I think I was a few points behind Frankie, but not many. And I wasn't in his heat. He was in another. I went out in my heat. And I remember a driver, I passed somebody, I never give it a second thought, and this lad took me clean out, wiped me out. And it was a mate of Frankie's. And I thought, oh, here we go. So anyway, I wasn't very happy about it. So like, the next race...
So you didn't qualify for the final then?
I qualified through the consolation, I think.
Right.
I got in the final. By that time, it was really muddy. It was just whoever could keep going the longest. And I think somebody tried to hold me up, and I just lost my head. I didn't drive very well. And I ended up losing out on the night. Frankie won the points. I was gutted. I was mad with myself. I was mad with what had gone on, but I was also mad with myself because I let it get to me. I didn't make the most of what I should have done.
Yeah.
I didn't drive well. And I beat myself up about that a little bit. And everything was getting a bit on top of me with the racing. And I thought, you know what? I just need some time away from it. And I honestly needed a break. Mm-hmm. So I sold the car and I had a year out.
Just went and done
I was
that for a bit of fun.
always going to come back. An opportunity came about at Rockingham. Somebody got me a drive there. So I thought, yeah, we'll have a go at that. Something different. And I wanted to get away from stock cars and I wanted to regroup because my equipment were getting tired. Like I say, I had an engine let me go in a world final and it was purely down to because it were an old engine and I were patching it up. Everything were getting a bit weary. The car that I'd raced on both surfaces were now, it were wore out,
Getting
to be
tired
honest.
compared to the others that are doing half the meetings.
So I needed to do something. And the only way I could do it really was have a year out and have a complete rethink. And that's what I did. I spent 2003 racing NASCAR. But obviously that were only probably once every 3 weeks. So I had loads of downtime on nights and weekends. So one of my old mechanics came back on board who'd been there through my early years and had a lot of success with me. He'd gone helping, I think he helped Rob speak for a bit. A bloke called Cecil, he's really famous in stock car circles. He's a proper one of the car builders, best car builders.
Is he the one from Gears and Tears? That's Cecil.
That's Cecil. He came back on board with me. And I got this idea of a new car I wanted to build, but it was very different. It was on torsion bar suspension. It was completely different how the engine were mounted. It was like where your feet was. It was a bit like a sprint car seating position. Anyway, I got this idea. I wanted to build it, and Cecil were dead keen to do all these new things because it was something different. You know, it's sort of sometimes you need something to spark your interest back, don't you? with stock cars. It can get a bit flat and a bit weary with it, which is what happened. So I built me and Cecil built this new car ready for the 2004 season. So yeah, so I had a year out and then came out in that, and went really well after that. That's when everything started to click really good. The car was, although
the form was back, the motivation and the
motivation
keenness was back.
were back, the interest were back.
Frankie and everyone else like, for God's sake.
Rebecca were born. That's when Rebecca were born that year, weren't you?
Trouble really started.
2004. So we settled then. Me and Lisa were happy. We were happy. We got our two
Got your
kids.
house, got your two kids.
Got our kids. Got our two kids.
You wanted a boy. You wanted a third.
Didn't need a boy. It'd have been easy.
Made a deal with you for a world final.
That'd have been too easy though, wouldn't it?
It's made it difficult now.
You two, yeah.
So yeah, just had a reset really and felt reinvigorated. Brought a new car out with loads of new ideas. They didn't all work.
Right, well.
It probably took 18 months to get the car. It took a lot. First season were very average. Second
But you were
season,
still happy and was like, we're going to make this work.
because I knew it
We're
had
going to make this
potential.
work.
Yeah, we're going to make it work. And me and Cecil made it work. And we got it. It took like 2006 season, start of that year. Me and Cecil, we built a tarmac car as well. So this car, what we built, even though it was doing ball surfaces for a couple of years, we put it on shale. We adapted it just for shale.
Yeah.
Built a new tarmac car and never looked back. 2006, from then on, yeah, did really good. Yeah, really.
They were your heydays, really.
They were really, yeah. They were my best years. And it were only really through going back to two cars.
Mm.
You know, not being so stubborn, not being so tight, and getting another car. And yeah.
Sometimes you can't be spending all that money all the time.
No, that's right.
You needed your time off to rethinking, and once you did get your second car, you was like, yeah, maybe we should have had a second car the whole time.
I should have had two cars earlier, really, when I look back at my career. But
Yeah.
just circumstances, innit? You know, it's just how things fall into line. I got a good bit of sponsorship, which helped me get back to two cars.
Nice.
And yeah.
The rest is history on that. After that,
It is,
really.
yeah. It was. Yeah, we had a 5 years there, 5 to 6 years of right at the top.
4 more world finals. Is it 4 more?
Yeah.
4 more world finals. Loads of British.
Yeah, several British championships, a couple of silver roofs. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see that?
Not European, no.
Did you still never win the European?
No, I've
You
never
never
won the
got it?
European.
Won it.
I remember they saying about, I think it was Gears and Tears, they say it in that, didn't they? Say,
That's why Frank was so much better.
yeah, they say he's never won a European. You never got it in the end.
The Northampton Championship, I call it.
It is, but it's now a Mildenhall Championship.
He reckons the roof's ugly anyway.
Yeah.
I had enough red and yellow on my cars. What do they want to put any more on for? No, I mean, jokingly about the European. For years, you know, the European wasn't that big a thing.
No.
When I raced, it was just... It really wasn't. I didn't go to the European for several years when I just used to race shale. I never used to bother going to it.
Yeah.
So and they used to just run it grade order. It was just a grade order normal race. In fact, I think it were out the app when I first started, you know. They used to pull it out the app. And then they went to grade order. But it's never... I don't know. It would be nice to say I'd won the European, but really, I don't lose 1 minute.
Don't lose
1 minute of sleep.
He's got
over
5 world finals.
Never winning the European.
He's not bothered about the
I
European.
think other people get more of a kick out of the fact I've not won it than I get pissed off that I haven't won it, I'll be honest.
It is one of them things, isn't it?
Does about one a little bit.
When
I
you
really
got-
wanted to win it the last few years because I was geared up for it and it become
Yeah.
more of a thing than the European. It got
Yeah.
its own roof colour.
A proper.
And it were a little bit more established, I felt.
Yeah.
So it were a little bit more one of
Incentive
them
to
you really
win.
wanted to win.
Yeah.
But it never. I've led a couple, but never managed to quite do it in the last few years. I went for it.
Is what it is.
Yeah,
Well, we can't talk about your career without talking about your brother,
yeah.
Stu. So, but he's your younger brother,
He is. He's nearly 10 years younger.
10 years younger. So
Yeah.
you was well established in the F1s by the time he come into racing then?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think now. He started Formula Ones probably 2003, I think.
Right.
The year I had off, which
Yeah.
would have been 2003, Stuart started racing Formula Ones.
Right.
He had a career. He sort of mirrored my career, really. He went into V8 hot stocks, did a similar length of time, probably 3 years.
But you probably see the success you had and thought, yeah, I'm copying
Maybe
that.
he did.
I'm coming.
Yeah, he didn't serve him bad, did it? You know, doing that route.
Yeah.
'Cause he, like I say, he did the hot stocks. He won the gold in the hot stocks, so he got to the top, and then he came into stock cars in 2003. But like I say, he's a lot younger than me. Obviously, he's my half brother, so we've got different mums,
Right.
same dad.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah.
So then, what was it like when you come back then? Because did he have the workshop, your workshop?
Well, he'd always been in the workshop, so
Oh, he had?
he never really liked that because he had a bit of a dabble in minis. Mm-hmm. But he'd always help me in the garage. He'd always, from being a little kid, he'd always come racing with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We came to all the meetings, even through hot stocks and.
So he was always going to be. He was always going to drive then, definitely.
No, he never wanted to. He was never really bothered about
There's always
racing.
one like that, isn't there? There's always. They always
Well, he
end
had to
up
go at
doing
minis
it.
when he were young. The trouble was he had to go at minis when he were like 10. And it were a bit like when I started, my dad weren't interested really. And it's not that I weren't interested, but I were racing hot stocks at that time.
Busy.
So I were busy. So I couldn't go to the mini meetings with him. I did a couple with him, but then he had another couple of people take him and put their mini. And I think he had a big crash and he didn't like it. Anyway, he only raced minis for. I bet he didn't even do a year. I bet he did 6 months in minis, and then he didn't want to do it anymore.
Right.
So we got rid of his minis, and then he never really mentioned racing, and then he just decided.
He was just helping you the whole time.
Yeah, he was happy to mechanic for me.
Yeah.
Then when I went into F1s, he mechanicked for me then, and he was learning a bit, getting a bit better, the car and stuff, because he was getting like a teenager then. And then he decided to have a go at hot stocks. Mm-hmm. So, funnily enough, Lisa, my wife, she used to do hot stocks when I did them way back in the day, because obviously she raced F1s as well. But when she did hot stocks, her old hot stock car ended up going to somebody down here, and it lived in a field for donkey's years. So we managed to get it out the field. The fella who owned it didn't want anything for it. He says, take it.
Just get out of my way. Yeah.
So we took it back up north, and Stuart spent, a bit like me, spent all his spare time. He renovated this old shed of a car that was just a rusty old, can you imagine him sat in a field outside, what it was like? He repanelled it. He repanelled it with offcuts of aluminium. Honestly, we're riveting offcuts together to make a bonnet side. Because he weren't buying any. No. And if there were none laying around the I won't let him use any full sheets, I don't think.
No, whatever you got left there, you
yeah,
can make
I
do
made
with.
it hard on him. So I said, there's enough over there, you can go. So he
Oh,
riveted
bless
them
him. He's sitting on the floor, dude.
That's why he's going to make it wings.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got this hot stocks out, and he did really. It was an ugly piece. By then, everything had moved on, hadn't it? We're talking probably 15-year-old this car, and it was a bit of a block of flats. Anyway, he made it go all right, and then he built himself a new one and got the gold top, and then came into F1s in 2003. He built his own car, and we've always done everything ourselves. That's how we've always done it, really.
Yeah.
And Stuart's no different.
That's what I've
Just
always
did his
known
own
as well.
gear.
You've always built your own cars and
Always,
done your own stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the same, coming to Formula Ones. And then
Yeah.
on Gears and Tears, you see you had two sides to the garage. So you had...
Yeah, that was further on, because obviously Gears and Tears was... Stuart had been racing quite a long time then, so it was like 2 sides of the garage. It wasn't 2 sides of the garage.
It wasn't, no.
Nah, we used to have... The way our place in Rochdale's laid out, we had the big garage where we used to do our daytime work on vans, tidying them up and that. And then we had an adjoining garage, but it had a door with a lock on it. And that door had to be locked during the day. We wouldn't go in during the day. Right. We set ourselves parameters, because you've got to, haven't you? Because if you work where you do your stock car, it's a recipe for bankruptcy, isn't it?
It's a recipe to not earn any money at all.
Yeah, so we used to set ourselves our little rule, and that was like 5:30, 5:45. We'd unlock the stock car.
That's quite late, to be fair.
Straight in there. Yeah, so it wasn't 2 separate garages, but
no.
Gears and Tears obviously wanted to edit it a bit like that.
Yeah.
But obviously Gears and Tears, the funny side, Stuart had his own mechanics and I had mine. I'll admit, we had a few floaters that did, a couple that petrol men and shit scrapers that did both. But
yeah.
The ones who knew what they were doing were like separate.
Do you know what I mean? Andy's, yeah.
Just how it worked. It weren't really a conscious thing, just the way it worked out. Cecil, my main man, obviously, as much as he liked Stuart and they bounced off each other really well, he struggled to work with him.
Right.
Because obviously Stuart's a lot younger than me. Cecil's older than me, so we were like older. Stuart's like early 20s. And you're scruffy, aren't you, when you're in your early 20s? You don't put your spanners away and you don't clean your tools. Cecil couldn't handle it. He likes everything in its place and everything tidy. And like
Stu's coming along.
Cecil would come to the garage and you had to have gas, steel, MIG wire. Everything had to be stocked up, you know what I mean? Because he was giving his own time up. He didn't want to turn up after an hard day's work of an evening and have no fucking gas or something like that, or no MIG wire. But like Stuart, if you did out for Stuart, it'd be a little bit disorganised. He got better as he got older, like we all do, but typical young lad, really.
Yeah, of course.
So, but Gears and Tears picked up on that, didn't they?
Yeah.
So like
they sort of run with it, didn't
you
they?
got the scene with Stuart and Cecil, and
Yeah.
it's quite funny.
Brilliant to watch.
Yeah, it was good.
We'll talk about a bit of Gears and Tears now, because as Chels mentioned earlier when we first come in, she dobbed me straight in it. when I first met Chels was probably the year after Gears and Tears come out, and for us as kids, I would have been, I say kids, young teenagers. There was nothing for us to watch stock car related on TV or on YouTube or anything like that. So then when Gears and Tears come out, I knew about F1s. I was from the mini-stock scene in Speedworth. I knew about them. I'd never seen them in person, never knew too much into them. And Gears and Tears come on and was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. You know, Smiths and the Waymans and showing off all the cars and the racing and stuff like that. And I'd watched it religiously. Day after day on the DVD, we'd fall asleep to Gears and Tears on the DVD. Literally, we still do it now with certain programs. You just pull it on and you go to sleep to it. It was Gears and Tears, and we woke up every morning to that bloody sound, that music on the the music on it. Every morning you wake up and she'd be like, "Turn that TV off." That's it. And the so we watched it religiously, and as Chelsea, I dobbed myself, and I ended up being a Wayman fan. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. It was just the way it was. They
Someone's got to be.
Yeah.
How did you watch that and be a Wayman fan? You won. Surely you go for the winner.
He liked the underdog.
It was the underdog, yeah.
All I said in it.
Yeah, I'll forgive you. He's all right.
Yeah, no,
He's
they
got a lot of fans.
They gave Wayman being the underdog and you lot being absolutely minted and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's how it made it look.
They
didn't
did,
it?
yeah. And you get engines whenever you want and all that stuff. So I ended up being a Wayman fan, but it actually opened my eyes to F1 and stuff. And my dad obviously watched it. He didn't watch the DVDs at night, I don't think, but we all watched it as a family together. And then obviously the World Final the next time, which you know very much about, the Coventry World Final, we turn up there and the place was heaving, absolute heaving. And obviously you went on and won it.
Yeah.
Again. Was that the second year in a row that time? Or was that the third year in a row? Was that the third? He'd already won it twice before.
Was it? Yeah.
2010.
Yeah, that would have been the third in the row one, yeah.
Nice.
That was the last one I won, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
And
it was a hell of a night, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember it well.
Absolute mental.
They didn't expect, I don't think they expected the crowd they got. They had to delay the start of the meeting, didn't they? To get everybody in, I remember that.
It was mental, and everyone was just the buzz about it. And whatever happened, how did that come about, Gears and Tears? You've probably been asked this a few times, but
I think what it was, there was a guy who he was a bit of a stock car fan, not a massive fan, but he'd been as a kid and he knew about stock cars, and he got a job with the BBC. He worked for the BBC, and he got like up the ladder, and he got to the stage where he's working on what they call these observational documentaries, which is the name for what Gears and Tears was.
Yeah.
And
an insight into
I
something.
mean, now there's loads of them, isn't there? But I think it was the early stage of these observational documentaries, and he had an idea where he thought he could do something with stock car racing. So he went to the head of BBC, whoever makes these decisions on commissioning them, and he put the idea to this. It was a lady, and he put the idea to her, and she commissioned a pilot. You know, she gave the budget to do a pilot. So anyway, he approached us, telling us all this. Would we be interested?
What's this, just in the pits come up to you? And
just come up to us, I think, and, whether it was the yard or in the pits, can't quite remember. Nice fella, John Lakey, he were called. And he says, look, he give us his ideas of what he wanted to base it on, about Frankie's team and our team. And he said, would you be interested? I says, yeah, anything to make the job, you know. Yeah, we're interested, yeah. And Frank, Wayman's obviously said the same. So he had to do this pilot, because he says, what it is, I'm doing this pilot, I've got to put it in front of the commissioner, and then if they like it, there's a good chance they'll commission a series. So he says, we need to come round to your yard and do some filming for this pilot. Won't take long. So he come round to the yard, did a bit with the stock cars. They'd obviously pulled some footage off the internet or wherever they got it from, videos. You know, they pulled some live footage of the racing
to
the
make
pilot.
it up. Yeah,
and they did like a 5-minute pilot. That's all they got the budget for. And I remember they got us down the garage, didn't they, Lisa? There were me, you, the girls, Stuart, my dad, and they were asking us. He were asking us from behind the camera. You know, obviously not interviewing us, but he was asking questions for us to react to. And he was trying to get us to talk about the Waymans. And he said, look, he says, for this to get past, I need it to be a bit spicy. nothing you say will go on, nobody will ever see it, but I've got to put it in front of my commissioner and I need you to be a bit edgy about it, you know, to get this series done.
to get the kick up the arse, yeah.
So then we start saying a few things and giving a bit of an opinion on stuff. And listen, I'm sure exactly the same happened in Silsden. We've not spoken about a bit.
Have you ever
Sam and
spoken to him
Frank
about
were
it?
fed the same yarn. Anyway, he did all this and everything, and they used it all, didn't they? Yeah, they stitched us right up. They used loads of it. Yeah, they said they weren't going to use it, and they did. Anyway, yeah, in the series. So some of that stuff were sort of put in there a little bit. Didn't really mean it. It was just to like get things along. Anyway, they got this pilot, and the woman okayed it all. And you know, originally it was supposed to be on BBC Two.
Yeah.
About 10 o'clock at night or something. He says that's where they're pitching it. Anyway, they did the series and everything, filmed it all. When it were all done, they looked at it all, the BBC, and they liked it that much. They put it on at bloody 7:30.
Yeah.
BBC
Well,
One.
BBC
It were like
One.
more or less prime time after EastEnders. You know, 7 million viewers.
We watched it when everybody else.
Oh no!
No,
they
we weren't
didn't.
allowed to see it. They wouldn't give us any previews of it or anything. We had to watch it on the BBC One when it happened. Yeah. So you
Because
can
you
imagine.
don't know what they've done
We're
to
like
that.
crawling behind our sofa, you know, watching this like lucky road. Oh.
They used to come on TV though with this massive foam speaker.
Yeah.
They used to come to school with it then. Just that normal. Just that normal, that's what they said.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah, they'd film us having tea. They'd say, is it all right to come to your house? Yeah, no problem. Why? We want to film you having tea. Really? Okay,
They did. Yeah, you was washing your meat when you or something.
So they'd come and they'd just film all sorts of stuff. But they reckon the ratio was 100 to 1. 1 minute, 100 minutes of
Yeah.
filming for 1 minute of usage.
Yeah.
So they had to get that much stuff. They were just filming also. They were down the yard a lot and at our houses a lot. And
Was it all pretty much all season, wasn't it? They would come and go all season.
Yeah, they picked selected meetings to go to because obviously they couldn't just do every meeting. So
No.
they picked the ones, some of the big ones and the ones what suited. And then the World Final, the year they filmed it was at King's Lynn. Mm-hmm. And they took a right team there. They took a truck with a trailer and they had a production unit and they really went to town for the World Final because they wanted to get a lot of
Everything.
A lot of
they
stuff.
wanted. That was the big payoff, wasn't it? That was the who's going to win.
Exactly. So yeah,
It's quite lucky one of them did win as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, most of the meetings they just probably had 4 or 5 people there, 6 people.
Yeah.
They had about 25 people at the World Final. I mean, God knows what the budget was, but
Well,
yeah,
that's crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it's good though. When you look back on it, it's a good thing to do from our point of view. I personally like it because it's got a lot of my dad on it. Mm-hmm. So I get to see a bit, you know. He's not
The King's
here
Lynn
anymore,
one where he
so-
boots the cup's the funniest.
Yeah.
That's the best bit.
Yeah,
Oh, fucking hell.
when he had his stool.
To get out of the way, so he stood at the back of the grandstand.
Yeah, that's it.
Swinging
yeah,
his
that's-
stool, weren't he? And he kicked that beer can,
Yeah, that's quality in having memories like that.
Yeah, it's great to look
That's
back
been on the BBC as well. That's
Yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
what was really good, you know, we sort of got the stock car community, and like not just us and the Waymans, the other families that were featured in it. They all got friends with the hardcore people that like the few that were doing all the
main core,
main core people.
Yeah.
There was two lasses and then John, who were the guy who got it all commissioned, and one other fella. They were all on it full time. That was their full time job doing that. So we got really friendly with them. You know, they
coming
they
over
just
and having
become
dinner
friends.
and that. Yeah.
And what they did for us, they did for the stock car job. When they did it all, they put together like a video of all the outtakes and what have you. And the year they did it, at the annual drivers' dinner dance, what we used to have, the prize giving night, they went to it. They were invited as guests, and they went to it, and they brought all the stuff and the big screen, and they played this outtakes at the dinner dance.
Yeah. Nobody's ever seen these.
Nobody'd seen it. It was absolutely fantastic, weren't it? They did a lot of it. They did sections of it to music, and because they're so good at what they do, it just worked.
Perfect.
It was just, it was so on point.
Like a little mini film.
It could make you laugh and it could make you cry. It was that good, honestly. There were people, it blew everybody away. I always remember that. Do you remember that? Yeah, good that was.
Oh, that's wicked, isn't it?
No, it was wicked. It was wicked. It was brilliant. But yeah, good, nice memory.
Did you notice a big your fan group growing after that? Or did it sort of die off? Because I'm surprised, especially with them putting it on primetime BBC, I'm surprised nothing else come of that. And I think a lot of people are, because there was nothing else after that. That was it. There was one series, and there was then ever talks of number 2, or that was always going to be it.
There was some talks about it, but it never materialised. But I don't know what happened there.
Which is a shame, as you say. Did you know the numbers that went on it, or nothing?
I heard the best it got was 7 million.
Okay,
that's what I was told. For one episode, I don't know which one.
That's crazy, isn't it?
I don't know if that's...
And it's just mad. It's mad to think that nothing ever come out after that.
No.
No.
They never pushed anything further.
No.
The sport had a really big short-term boost, didn't it? Like you said, the world final that year.
I mean, I'd become an F1 fan from there. Not a die-hard one, but I fell in love with F1s after watching that and coming to meetings and stuff. I'm
sure it did boost the sport, not as much as it could have done. You know, I think everybody hammers promoters, don't they? It's easy to hammer a promoter for lack of promotion, but it's difficult because they're working within budgets and parameters out there. You know, it's not a huge sport, oval racing, in that respect.
No.
But I do wonder if some of the promoters near the biggest towns and the cities should have had something in the shopping centres, you know, a couple of cars, just while the series were on.
Yeah. Showing the series on TV as well, on the TV in front of you with the cars there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. There could have been loads of ideas.
You know, I'm not on about like a TV advertising campaign or anything like that. But
no, I meant the TV next to the car showing what they can do. Yeah. Showing the programme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Didn't really do a right lot when you look back.
Yeah.
But
which is a shame.
It is a shame. It was an opportunity missed, I suppose, to, you know, expand the sport to a new audience.
Maybe everyone thought everyone else would do it, and no one ended up doing it.
Possibly.
Right. So what weren't too much longer after that then? What year did you retire in
then? The year after that, actually. That Coventry, 2010 was the one we just spoke about, the big world final at Coventry. And then I did another year after that. End of 2011 I retired.
They ban your car?
Nope.
Your tarmac car?
They didn't. No, I had a tarmac car in... That was earlier. That was 2009. That was when it was Gears and Tears were being filmed, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. No, I brought a car out which was a little bit different, but was fine. But again, Gears and Tears didn't make it up that there was controversy and people mourning, but they highlighted it and probably exaggerated a little bit. There was a couple of people that had a point of view and mourned a bit, but most people didn't really seem that bothered.
No.
But it was just a different way. It's progress, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you can see by what you've done with your cars over the years.
Yeah. I mean, stock car, like any type of racing, is about progression, isn't it? You know, no one's standing still.
No.
Everyone wants to go faster.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to beat everybody. So it's a competitive environment. So if you can design something or try something and it works and gives you your edge over your competition, then the competition will try and copy it and make it a bit better and come up with their... And it's a natural way of doing things, isn't it?
Evolve.
The controversy with that car was because it was something that nobody had done before. They tried to say, Frankie had done that years before, but they banned it. But what Frankie did was completely different to what I did. You know, people don't really... If people who actually got a brain and understood it would realise what I did wasn't nothing like that. It was perfectly within the rules. Eventually, they did change the rules to outlaw the car, but that was a bit later. I think that was probably 2010,
right?
2011. I can't just remember, to be honest.
How comes you was done by that point then? You'd won your third world title in a row, and then did you not win it the next year, and then you were done?
No, I won it in 2010.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, for a couple of years at least, I wasn't particularly enjoying the racing that much. I was finding reasons not to go to meetings.
Right, well, that's when you know there's,
you know, me and
there's a
Lisa
problem.
sometimes we just couldn't be bothered. We didn't wanted to do other things. Sometimes just wanted to stay home. I know it sounds boring, but
No.
when you've raced stock
When you're
cars
doing
from
that many
10-year-olds,
meetings, many meetings a year, staying home is probably a nice break.
you know, I was 37-year-old, something like that. I'd won more than I'd ever dreamed I'd ever win in the job. You know, all that was keeping me going the last few years was winning the world final, if I'm honest. And the fact I had good sponsorship, so it wasn't costing me a fortune.
That always helps, yeah.
Yeah. But I wasn't doing it for what I'd done it for most of my career, which was that buzz, that pure excitement. Wasn't doing it. It wasn't really.
Wasn't hitting
I would
it
just.
anymore.
I would almost just like rinse and repeat. You know what I mean? And because I was still enjoying, luckily enough to win world finals and have success, and I was still fast, I just kept going for them reasons. And I suppose that was it. It wasn't just an instant decision. It was something that was coming. And at the end of 2010, I'd won my third world final on the trot, which I emulated what my dad did, which was a dream for me. And I didn't really see. I was motivated to win a fourth because that would have been new ground. But my focus got shifted a little bit. I lost my dad suddenly, which hit me hard. Yeah, just busy with everything. And I suppose my focus just shifted a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
So I raced the next year, 2011, and I weren't as good. I was still good on shale, but the world final that year were on tarmac. And I wasn't as good on tarmac. I wasn't putting the effort in. My head weren't right. I was busy with all sorts of stuff. And I just weren't really focused right. And I didn't manage to win the fourth world title. As soon as I didn't win that fourth world title, I was done.
that was it.
That was time to
That
give
was
up.
your last bit of fire.
That was the last thing I really wanted to, but I didn't work hard enough that year. I didn't focus enough, and it cost me ultimately. I didn't manage to do it. I think I got. Did I get third? No, I didn't get. I think I got third, didn't I? Something like that.
So then,
Who remembers second or third?
that's it.
I can't remember. I knew I didn't win it.
Yeah.
Paul Harrison won. He drove a brilliant race. And,
Northampton, was it? Was it that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I never had the car underneath me to challenge to win it. Just weren't quick enough that year on tarmac. On occasions I was, but just. But I don't think I were right. When I look back at it now, I weren't mentally right neither. I weren't.
No, you're not going to be though, are you?
No,
you're not going to be. And that was the last nail in the coffin, really.
It was, and also it coincided with Jessica starting with the minis as well. We got Jessica a mini at the end of 2010. We got her it for Christmas, didn't we?
Didn't go very well, but yeah.
She'd been wanting to go at ministocks, and she'd seen little Frankie have a go on gears and tears.
I want to have a go.
So we borrowed a mini for her to have a little run round. I took her to a Buxton.
Is that what was on the end of the gears and
It
tears?
was on gears and tears. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because Frankie had done it, she wanted to do it. So we borrowed this mini because I weren't buying one. So I thought I didn't know if she'd like it or not. So we borrowed this mini and we took her up to Buxton. It was a freezing, wet, horrible day, weren't it? Anyway, she went out in this mini and she was going round, and I'm on the infield, and she's going round and she's looking at me and putting her thumb up like that. And I'm going, get your foot down, waving her on. Anyway, she got a bit confident, half spun, went across the infield, and they had a takeoff ramp for the banger jumps on the infield.
Yeah, the ramp rollovers.
Ramp rollover thing. She's going for this ramp, and she's not slowing down. And I'm watching, I'm thinking, fucking hell, Jessica, slow down. Anyway, she hit this, she put her brakes on, and she ended up halfway up this ramp with the brakes on like that. So her legs hit across.
Oh, wow.
She's crying, right? Her tears are rolling down her cheeks. So that was at the end of Gears and Tears, so that told me she's not ready. So we gave it a year. So the end of the following year, 2010, I bought her a mini stock to get in view to her racing the year, because she'd been chewing me ear. She really wanted to go, and she was 11 by that point. She'd have been 11. And in the back of my mind was, I didn't want her to have the mini career I had as well.
Right.
I wanted her to have.
Everything.
If we were going to do it, I wanted to have a chance. You know, to.
Yeah. To have the chance you didn't have and give her the right equipment and time to do well.
Yeah, and you can't do that while you're racing anyway. No. So that's not the reason I packed Formula Ones in, but it was another thing. It was a seamless transition from a racing point of view. I stopped racing, but I was still going racing because we were straight into the minis then, weren't we, Jess? Yeah, more or less.
I'll chuck that mic on over there now. I've just added a mic over to Jess and Rebecca now. Yeah. So it was a seamless transition anyway because you were still going racing.
Yeah.
You actually decided not to hit the ramp rollover this time.
Yeah, I learnt my lesson there. I learnt the difference between the brake and the accelerator, let's say. Harsh lesson. Yeah, that was that. And then I chewed his ear off for the next 6 months and he eventually gave in and bought me one. And then, went from there. 5 years in minis.
So when I finished at the end of 2011, more or less 2012, well, you raced 2011, that was her first year in minis with my last year in Formula Ones.
Right.
But obviously I were enjoying taking her more. Because we used to do the odd meeting with her, we'd take a pickup from the yard, didn't we, with a trailer, and go mini racing. I missed a lot of Formula 1 meetings that year, which is probably why I weren't prepped well enough to win that world final, to be honest.
Your head's not there at all.
No, it'd gone by that point, to be fair.
You can tell straight away.
So we more or less went straight into ministocks with Jessica after that.
Did you take it like duck to water?
No, definitely not. No, I spent funny story. I got taught how to drive in a van at 9 years old around a car park, like everyone does when they first start learning to drive. And it was always told when you brake, you press the clutch so the engine doesn't stall. Well, I took this literally for 2 years.
Every corner.
Yeah. Every corner, I used to brake and then press the clutch in a Mini until about probably 18 months later, someone heard me down Buxton Straight. Well, there's no engine braking, is there, when you press your clutch? So they used to listen to my engine all the way down Buxton Straight and then nothing. A load of tyre squealing and me out of control. And it weren't until someone brought it up to Dad and then he said, so what are you doing? And I went, well, I'm pressing the brake with the clutch.
No. Instantly mortified.
Well, from then...
We're 2 years in, Jess.
It wasn't 2 years, but it was a long time. I was more mad with myself because I'd not picked up on it. I'm like... I don't know, we're just letting her find her own feet, really. She
bit too much.
Yeah, I thought she will get there eventually. We'll keep plugging away.
Yeah.
But you did. You eventually turned a corner.
Yeah, I turned a corner. Yeah.
You get to Red Roof Superstar.
Went yellow to red, and then yellow to red Superstar, and then didn't look back. Didn't have her. I was probably the most successful mini driver that won loads of finals and loads of races, but didn't actually win a proper championship. So.
Oh no.
Just circumstances didn't go my way, and then races.
I think I'd give you a run for your money.
Yeah, perhaps.
Neither of us won anything.
Some would say our head went in the big races, you could say, but...
Was you a bit of a live wire in the big races?
Yeah, I got banned a couple of times, and that meant
that
it
just...
that
says it all.
Put you out the running a little bit, like you're on the back foot then when you come from a ban, and but no, I enjoyed minis. They are good, but a lot of controversy because there's a lot of dads' egos in there that drive the kids, I think. Let's say
that. Was it Vemray this weekend? A few weekends ago, and we could see it then.
There's a lot of money in them now as well. There's a lot of spending going on. I did pretty much like what Dad was saying earlier. I had a dual. Becky and me had a dual surface car, so we had one mini each. Same mini, but I raced, then she raced. Shale and tarmac, we used to swap it over in the garage. And that's what wound everyone up, because I used to race at shitty Bellevue and then win on the Sunday at a Buxton after we'd pressure washed it all and swapped it all over. And
well, that's the best way, isn't it?
Yeah, so similar really.
Ruffling a few feathers there.
Yeah, lived what he did in his early career, he did with us, taught us how to run with one car, and it's good.
Nice.
I built her a mini and I vowed I'd never build a bloody another one, and I stuck to my word.
And you stuck to it, yeah.
Because they both had the same mini throughout all the careers.
Oh, you both had the same mini?
Yeah, we had it for
So it was really bent when I got to it, and then I really bent it after.
We knew it like the back.
What's the age difference?
5 years.
Four and a
Oh,
half
so you
years.
basically had the whole career and then
Yeah,
it was
Yeah.
full mini
Becky's
career.
time to start.
Yeah.
It's perfect, really. They plan their kids quite well. Concentrate on one, then the other one gets out of the seat, and then the other one can come in.
With the same car.
And the
Yeah.
the current goal top is running it now.
Yeah.
Oh, was he?
He
So
won
they-
the goal.
they did
He won
what
the
we
goal. He
couldn't.
won the goal top last year.
Oh, so he can win them.
Yeah, it can
Yeah,
win.
my
It's
mini.
not with us.
My mini won the goal top at last.
Just not with your girls, is it?
No.
Only took about 12 years, but it won it.
Was you just as competitive in them as you was in your F1? Or was you like you with your girls?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You was
probably.
if not worse.
Competitive from a point of view where
It's just Lisa said, 100%.
yeah, I would be competitive from a point of view of trying to prep the car as good as I could.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Learn how to do things and try new stuff. And yes, that you don't go racing to trundle around. Well,
No.
and the
I
girl,
could tell by
if I didn't think the girls had the mentality where, if I thought they just wanted to
Trundle round.
turn up just to have a trundle round, I probably wouldn't be put as much into it as what I did do. But
Because they had the fire,
Yeah,
they then give
do
you
well.
the fire.
it's just because the thing is with mini stocks, with the Formula Ones, it's very individual. You build your own car, you do it your own. There's a lot of different stuff out there. Everybody's doing their own stuff, aren't they?
Because the
with the
rules
minis,
are so free.
What I found with the mini stocks was you got a couple of sort of designated builders who were building the cars. So me building a one-off didn't go down well because you're not in like a clique, like a such and such's clique.
Yeah.
So all the dads who are in Car Builder A's group
Yeah.
are for Car Builder A
They're all over
cars,
there.
and Car Builder B, all his dads are all with him. So
We were the black sheep.
I ain't got no pals when it comes to like the boardroom. Do you know what I mean? So
we was in that boardroom a lot.
So like when it comes down to so and so stuff somebody and what we're going to do, we never had a bloody chance because
No.
we didn't have any pals.
Yeah, they're banned.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
As well as, but that's where you've always done
But
it,
it's
building
all-
your own
it's all,
cars. And,
it's
Character
all
building.
Character building. I used to tell them when they used to say, "Dad,
why am
why
I
am I
banned?
banned for 6 months? I only did that." Am I right? Never mind, Jessica. We'll just get on with it.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you had good mini careers. You just never quite managed to get the championships in.
Yeah, they were good fun. We were nearly there, second and thirds, pretty much. But
Jessica's best chance of gold. She got a ban about 3 months before it, so you just come back off your ban, didn't you?
yeah,
just
I was
before the
off-
gold top.
off the back foot, really.
And she got a second, but she didn't have she were warmed up for it.
Was that the Northampton?
No, it was
No,
that
it
was a
a
Coventry. And Rebecca's best chance of the gold, she was winning it at Northampton by a long way, and a mystery yellow flag came out for absolutely alcohol.
No.
Bunched the field, and then she got
Absolutely. I had a
Absolutely
flat
destroyed.
front outside and the car just turned right when I got hit and I got told it was the worst I've ever seen a mini and it made on a banger page. So I got something out of the day. Wasn't the trophy what I wanted, but I got a big round of applause for getting out.
Oh, sometimes that's better anyway.
Yeah.
so they both got close, but
Yeah.
no cigar.
So I'm sitting in a garage then from an F1 legend, and I've got 4 F2s in it. How does that work then?
It's easier. You can fit 4 in here. You couldn't fit 4 F1s.
Yeah, you'd only fit 2 F1s in here, wouldn't you?
It was we got into F2s by accident, really.
Yeah.
We when Jessica was studying, when was it? Let me
I
think
got
now.
banned and Jess was at uni. So you put
No.
Jess in the
What
outlaw.
happened was when Jessica was studying, when she was at college, a friend of ours, Chris Roots, who's an old XF2 driver, he's boy races now.
Yeah.
We got friendly with Chris over a few years, and he offered to let Jessica have a go in one of his cars down at Arena Essex, just in the Rolling Thunder sort of thing. You're probably aware of that, are you?
I was raced there, yeah.
Have you raced there? Yeah.
I've done a year in them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were long old days, weren't they? They were like loads of formulas.
30 races
You know,
or whatever.
so-
that
That was a
was,
joke,
Thunder.
wasn't it?
So just for something to do, she'd finished mini stocks. Rebecca had started mini stocks, but just for something for Jess to do, Chris he were even taking the car, bless him.
he was really
to-
good.
Because they had
to
all
Arena.
3 of them racing there at once, didn't they?
Yeah.
The root slot, Nick, Chris
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Dan.
they've
the
all
two-
done
the
that.
two
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Well, I think they'd moved on into what were they doing
They were
then,
in
Jess?
Super stocks.
They were in
Yeah.
super stocks. So Chris still had this. I think this car weren't really specified for super stock. So he says, just do the outlaw Superstocks at Arena and have a run round. So we used to go down there with Jess and meet Chris there sometimes, or sometimes we'd go to his house and give him a lift with the car. But we sort of got into it by accident, and then after a bit, Chris said, you know, do you want to buy it and carry it on? You know, he was wanting to sell the car and get rid of it. He says, I'm not bothered if you don't. So we thought he offered us a right good deal, so we bought it just so Jess could carry on doing the outlaw Superstocks.
Yeah,
just something to do at Swaffham and Arena, wasn't it?
Yeah, the studying was pretty heavy, so it was more of a relief, really, weren't it? And then I think we ended up converting it to Brisca spec, and I did the odd meeting while I was at uni. Dad used to meet me just to get a relief from studying, really, because that was pretty much a full-time job in itself. So then, before you know it, I was in Brisca, and then Rebecca naturally followed once she finished minis, and.
Obviously, I were full on with the minis, so that was the main priority, weren't it, with you, Rebecca? We were doing the minis, but on the odd occasion we weren't racing minis. We'd still got this outlaw Superstock, so we did it at Swaffham, didn't we? And then Rebecca got a bloody ban in mini stocks, so we had a few months where we had a bit more time. So we changed it to a Brisca car because it was only geared up for Superstocks.
Yeah.
So we changed it to Brisca spec and went to Holland with it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Took you to Holland for Venray.
Yeah.
And,
first time out.
First meeting with the Briscas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Won me eat.
Nice.
And then one thing leads to another. Rebecca then finished minis, and so then we needed another F2. So we bought another. I didn't build a car at that stage. I bought one because when you look at these F2s, especially these tarmac cars, at the time they looked a bit daunting. To build, you know, I could build a mini, I could build a farm, I could build most things, but to build an F2 looked a bit of an headache. So we just bought a second-hand one. So then we had 2 cars then for the girls.
Yeah.
And then we've had another one since, and then obviously now we know a bit more about F2s.
How long have you been in them now?
Been in them a while, 5 years.
Have I done 3?
Right.
You
Yeah,
must
so
have done
you're well
5.
established in them
Yeah.
now. You know what you're looking
learned
at.
a bit more about them, you know. So obviously we've only done tarmac up to now, but
We do
even though
all
the tarmac
in-house as
chassis
well.
are not built by us, we do everything in house. I don't. There's not a lot we get done anywhere else.
I think the latest thing we've bought out is a wing, and that's about it.
And just because we've got no time to build it.
Prior to that, we've been even
'Cause
done
you
our
keep
own
smashing them
wings.
out.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But other than that, we've been in house.
Yeah, because we do all our own fabrication. I do all the engines, do all the
Oh, you
diffs.
rebuild all the engines
Yeah,
as well?
do the engines, do the diffs. We don't sub anything out. So you learn more that way. So
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got enough knowledge now to perhaps have a go on shale, get the girls out on shale because they fancy a go, and I think it improves you as a driver doing a bit of shale. So we're just putting together a couple of shale cars. I were hoping we'd get them out this year, but as soon as you start racing and that, there's that much work and maintenance with the F2s on tarmac.
I've been told that, yeah.
Oh wow, there's a lot of work.
Yeah,
with
it's
them.
constant.
Full-time job.
Yeah.
They're not the little racing cars, really, aren't they? With a Formula One stock car, you can bounce a wall, you can hit a car, you can do lots of minimal contact, and all you might do is bend your front axle or knock your tracking out. Whereas with a Formula 2, you tend to get extensive damage when you do things like that. So all your spares have to be, to good
Tip-top,
pile of spares, so you can get back out for next race. And it's just quite a lot of workload keeping them two going on tarmac. So the shale cars haven't really come on as fast as we'd have liked, but
They're getting there. They look very
good. They're pretty good now. So we can take our time now. We've abandoned this season for the shale. So
and
we'll
get
take
them
our
right.
time over winter and have them, on point for the start of next year. Hopefully, that's the plan. And obviously it's another learning curve then for a minute, learning how to race shale. It's a different.
These cars, are they a lot of your own ideas in this? Obviously, you've got the 2 tarmac cars here, but you've got 2 shell cars.
Yeah, the 2 tarmac cars are RCE chassis, but these 2 cars, obviously, because we built them from scratch. Probably a lot of that. I haven't gone off anybody else's.
No.
I've looked at things, but I've not. I've had offers of other cars. Or measure this one, measure a Polly, measure a Webster. You copy that, but it's not my way. You can't hold out. I'm not saying.
He's getting one better. That's what it is.
No, I'm not saying that.
History repeats itself.
Yeah.
I'm not. Hey, I don't mean it that way. I don't mean.
No,
I'm
I'm not
going to
saying
build
what-
a better one. I know what you're saying.
I
you
can
only have
imagine you
laugh.
would.
But it's just not my way anyway.
Yeah.
We might build them, and the girls are new to it, so it'll take them a while to get up to speed anyway. But also the cars are they're not a named chassis. They're own builds, so they might not be that great to start with, but we'll work with them.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, isn't it? It's just, I enjoy the building. I enjoy fabrication and building. I still enjoy building race cars, so I've enjoyed doing it, so why buy a product? It'd be a lot of money to get these to it on shale. We'd have to come up with a lot of money to get to.
We've had a look into it.
It's just not feasible.
Yeah, we did.
Whereas
me
if we could
and
do
Dad had
everything-
an idea into one of these, and then we looked at it and was like, yeah, maybe not.
If we could do everything in-house,
Right, yeah.
Instead of an engine costing you £4,500, it costs us £1,500.
Yeah.
Instead of a chassis costing, I don't have to do the figures, you know what it.
Yeah, I know. The thing
You
is
can
as well,
slash it by less than half if you do it
the
yourself.
thing is as well, the wins are that much better. The
Yeah.
wins. You didn't buy any of that car.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when the girls go out and winning it, you'll all come back and be like,
If
you will. When you come back, you'll be like,
Yeah.
that was us. Just like me and Dad with our car, just 2 or 3 championships now with the car that we built, and it just makes it that much better.
100%.
You're like, we didn't buy that. We built that.
Racing's gone a different way, hasn't it, in recent years? From my era anyway. There's not many building their own. There is ones that build their own, but there's a lot that aren't.
Yeah.
A lot of people are fast tracking to a good product, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They'll buy.
I've been around F1s the last few months to see it is like that. Yeah.
I mean, that's fine because a lot of people haven't got the knowledge and they haven't done the slog like what I feel I've done and Frankie and people like that. So they haven't got the ability. So I get that. There's room for it all, but there is something about doing it in your own. When you've done it yourself, there
100%.
definitely is.
100%.
And you even know if you're talking Formula One stock cars, the very best do their own cars still, don't they? And it's not like that in Formula 2s. Not many build their own now. Nearly every car on track is built by a professional builder. Whereas Formula 1s it's still hanging on to that. Where like Tom Harris builds his own cars, Frankie Wayman builds his own cars, Lee Fairhurst, Matt Newson, the ones who are at the very top, Finnegan. I don't want to miss anybody out. I don't mean anything to be rude, but they're the ones that go on top of your head. They're right at the very top of the sport. And even though they're building cars for other people, the cars that they're winning their races in, they've built them, haven't they?
Yeah.
Whereas Formula 2 is not really like that.
There's so many.
I don't know why it's that way.
There's so many customer cars out there, isn't there? There's so many. Probably got 4 or 5 main builders, professional builders, and all the top ones have got them cars, haven't they?
That's right. I mean, obviously, it comes down to tuning it the best then, and
of course.
who comes down to setting it up and driving it.
Yeah.
But we even get satisfaction from that, don't we? I mean, like I say, we're running with cars that we haven't built, but we build every spare, everything on these cars now. We're doing in house.
Yeah.
With our own engines, we tune. We don't. I mean, in F2, because you run slipper diffs, people send them to professionals to get the diffs all set up, whereas we just learnt our own way, haven't we?
Yeah.
And different.
I personally feel more satisfaction knowing that we've done it ourselves, and we've spoke about the setup, and they can pull decent lap times. Like you can send a car off, and you can have someone else do the work, and you can talk to them about it. But nothing beats having that with your dad and your sister out there, like when she does well, I know that I've contributed to that, or she's contributed to me doing well. It's just different.
Different feeling.
Definitely, 100%.
Sending it off.
100%. And hopefully with these new cars,
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Few
We'll see.
spins,
Next year, we'll see.
Yeah.
Not this year.
No, it'll be next year.
Yeah.
Project
What is it?
2026.
2026?
Yeah.
So closing up now, just want to know what's your schedule at the minute in working on these cars in the middle of the season? Are you all out here every week, every day?
More or less, yeah. At the moment, just doing these cars, getting them all done, and keeping the girls going in the tarmac cars. It just takes up so much time.
Are you two both out here as well?
Yes, yeah.
Because
Jess
we
does
do
rounders
everything
on a
ourselves,
Tuesday,
But
other than that, we are in garage.
Yeah, in the garage.
Yeah, a lot of people I think get a misconception. You see a lot of girls, and I don't want to belittle anyone, but you've got to have dirty hands to be in a garage. So
we wouldn't be on track if we weren't mechanically minded.
We've got to be like that.
Because we've got 2 drivers and 1 mechanic, so naturally we're going to need to know what we're doing to some extent. Because if we both come off on a tractor, Dad's going to have to pick one.
Yeah.
So
we knuckle down and get on with it.
That's the best way. Though. It's good to see that, especially from the birds. It's you know, you're actually getting stuck in and you're coming off, you're changing tyres, you're doing fuel, and you know what you need to do to your car because you've done it all in the garage.
Exactly. The only thing I can't do is physically lift my gearbox and diff out. But other than that,
we do need assistance on that.
Otherwise, I'll probably end up on the garage floor. But
yeah, just the sheer weight of stuff you struggle with, don't you?
That's the only thing.
Like they'll get all the air shafts out, the diffs out, drained, ready to go. They need me to just oik it off underneath and get it on the bench and what have you. Yeah, but yeah, we do as much as we can. We race probably once a fortnight on average. We can't do every weekend at the minute. You just do what you can do. The geography, though, you see, Tebs, where we live, obviously, is not ideal for tarmac F2 racing.
No, well, you got Skeggy.
Skeggy's 3 hours.
Is that 3 hours from here?
Yeah.
That's our nearest regular track.
Skeggy, Taunton's regular. Which how far is that?
5 hours.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
The nearest track-
what's the nearest
hence
track?
why we've thought
Aldershot.
about Shale, because they're a bit
2.5 hours.
closer. Like Mildenhall's 40 minutes,
Mildenhall,
Kings Lynn's an hour and
Northampton.
15.
Kings Lynn.
It makes more geographical sense.
Yes.
So hopefully we fall in love with that.
Yeah, with the Shale, we can do a bit more localised.
Yeah.
Local, if you call like an hour and a half Northampton local. It's a bit more local than
It's a bit
what
more
we're
than
doing at
5
the minute.
hours, isn't it? 3 hours.
Yeah.
Hour and a half you can deal with easy.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, we like going down the West Country, don't we?
Yeah.
We go down as much as we can, but we like to do it when there's two. You know, we'll double up with a Bristol or a Taunton or even a St Day and a Taunton.
Yeah, make it worth it.
Make it the journey worth it, really.
They're perfect tracks for the F2.
You've got to travel, but there's loads of people that do loads of travelling in F2, isn't there? I mean, look at Moody. I mean,
Moody and Ginch, oh my God.
how Gordon just, the motivation, you know, I mean, his motivation is his success, I suppose. That's, you know, and he's so good, isn't he? But the miles he puts in, you know, him and Ginch were down at St Day, you know, they'd be better off at Taunton, loading them on the trailer and saying, look, shall we both just not go? And then, nobody will lose any points on each other.
They can't, they can.
No, because you go home and the other one would be at St Day, wouldn't they?
That would be the better idea, but that ain't going to happen. No way.
Yeah, but it's a very, very busy formula, isn't it? You know, there's as many meetings as you want to race at, isn't there, really?
Yeah.
We're doing all right.
Good.
We've got our world final in, just a bit more than a week, next weekend.
So Rebecca's qualified.
Yeah, first one.
Jess is in the last chance.
Yeah, haven't been in the last chance for a couple of years.
What do you reckon?
I think I'm second row outside.
So Jess to come through.
Round Cowdy. But there is 6 spots, so that's not too bad.
Well, you're in the spot already, so don't go backwards.
I'm up at the end you want to be anyway to get top 6.
Definitely.
What is it that they all said at the weekend? The business end.
The business end.
Business end.
Yeah,
and where are you starting, Rebecca?
I'm 8th row inside, so if I smash it up, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, no expectations. You go into it like you want to win anything. Can't think I will, but I don't mind too much. Just happy to be there, to be honest.
You're in it. All 4 of us have been in world finals now.
Yeah.
Mum, Dad.
Only one of us has
Mum, Dad,
actually
and
won
the 2
them.
kids.
But no.
So that's quite an achievement.
Yeah.
Nice. And
I only do more laps than your mother did in her world final.
How many did you do?
About one.
Oh, you only won?
About one.
Oh.
One then.
How long was your stint in it, Lisa? F1s?
About 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
She got to red. She loves to remind us.
Is there any other ladies that have done
Jane
it?
Bean, she was a tarmac bird, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she was rough. Not rough, but she was pretty tough. She used to give it to the men proper.
Right.
Yeah, no, she was good.
And I was showing.
Oh, nice.
Lisa won 2 Coventry finals.
And an F1?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Coventry
wow.
was the place to win. If you could win a Coventry final, because Coventry back in the day was where everybody went once a month.
It was the same. Was it the end of every month?
It was the
Beginning?
first Saturday
Beginning.
every month.
That was it, yeah.
And it was like, it was the biggest meeting of the month. It's where you got most cars. It's where you got the best drivers. Lisa won 2 finals there.
She loves to remind us.
Plenty of fun.
Nice. There's a proper stock car family, isn't it?
Yeah,
Proper stock car family, brilliant.
There's a lot of families in there where this job's their life, you know.
Oh,
Good
wicked.
about it.
Right, well, I hope I've not missed anything. Thank you, everyone.
so.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you,
No
Jessica. Thank you,
problem.
Rebecca. Thank you,
Thank you.
Lisa.
It's
Appreciate
been a
it.
pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. I hope we covered everything, or enough anyway.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for giving us the time.
That's right. And we'll see you in the next one.